The Galactic Council's archaeological team hovered around the massive derelict vessel floating in the void between the Cygnus and Orion arms. Chief archaeologist Vex circled the ancient hulk, his tentacles waving excitedly as he recorded his observations. Remarkable preservation, he noted. This appears to be a military vessel from the extinct species, known as humans, approximately 2,000 cycles since their disappearance during the Great Collapse. His assistant, Trill, bopped nervously. "Sir, our scans show unusual energy signatures. Perhaps we should." "Nonsense," Vex interrupted. "All human technology was rendered inert during the electromagnetic cascade of the collapse. This is merely residual radiation from the ship's defunct power core." The archaeological team's shuttle docked with the massive battle cruiser, the magnetic clamps engaging with a dull thud that echoed through the ancient hull. A boarding party consisting of 6 archaeologists and 2 security officers entered through what appeared to be an emergency airlock. "Fascinating," Vex whispered as their lights illuminated the interior. "Look at these control surfaces, physical buttons and levers. How primitive." Deep within the ship, something stirred. Captain James Miller had been in cryosleep for a very long time. He didn't know how long exactly, but the emergency protocols were clear. Wake the captain if the ship was boarded while in dormancy mode. His pod hissed open and he gasped, drawing in recycled air that tasted stale but breathable. Warning lights pulsed softly in the cryobay. The ship's AI, ARIA, spoke in his mind through his neural implant. "Captain, unknown entities have boarded. They'd appear to be non-human. Ship systems are in emergency power conservation mode." Miller groaned, his muscles protesting after their long dormancy. "Wake the essential crew." "How many hostiles?" 8 entities, apparently unarmed, waking Lieutenant Reed and Chief Engineer Barnes. In the command deck, Vex had discovered what he believed to be the captain's chair. "Look at this primitive interface. They actually sat here, physically pushing these controls." Trill was examining a darkened display panel. "Sir, I'm detecting power fluctuations throughout the ship." "Impossible," Vex scoffed. "Your equipment must be malfunctioning." The lights suddenly came on, causing the archaeological team to freeze in alarm. A moment later, all the displays flickered to life, displaying information in an unfamiliar script. "What did you touch?" Vex demanded. "Nothing," Trill protested. "I was merely observing." A door at the far end of the command deck slid open with a hydraulic hiss. 3 bipedal creatures entered, wearing form-fitting uniforms with insignias on their chests. The tallest one, clearly the leader, spoke in a deep voice. "I am Captain James Miller of the Earth Defense Force battlecruiser Indomitable. You are trespassing on a military vessel." The translator implants of the archaeological team took a moment to process the unfamiliar language, then rendered it in standard galactic. Vex's eye stalks quivered in shock. "Impossible. The humans went extinct 2,000 cycles ago." Captain Miller exchanged glances with Lieutenant Reed and Chief Engineer Barnes. "I assure you, we're very much alive. Now explain your presence on my ship." While the captain engaged with the intruders, Barnes quietly assessed the ship's status through her neural link with Aria. The news wasn't good. The Indomitable had been adrift for 312 years. The rest of the crew, over 400 personnel, remained in cryosleep, but the power systems were failing. "Captain," she subvocalized through the neural link, "we've got about 6 hours of full power remaining. After that, the cryopods will fail." Reed was already accessing the tactical systems. "Weapons are offline. Life support is stable but limited to this deck. Engines, functional but low on fuel." Miller maintained his imposing stance while processing this information. To the aliens, he showed only confidence. "You still haven't explained yourselves," he said. Vex, recovering from his shock, attempted to explain. "We are archaeologists from the Galactic Council. We discovered your vessel and believed it to be an artifact from a lost civilization. We had no idea anyone was still alive aboard." "Archaeologists," Miller repeated. "Not military?" "No, we are scholars, researchers." Miller made a quick decision. "Then perhaps we can help each other. Our ship needs resources. Fuel, primarily. In exchange, we can share our artifacts with you. Vex's tentacles curled with excitement at the prospect of studying living humans and their technology. The Council would certainly authorize such an exchange. This is the archaeological discovery of the millennium. 3 hours later, a Galactic Council support vessel arrived. The human crew, now all awakened from cryosleep, watched with caution as alien engineers helped restore the indomitable systems. Commander Reed approached Miller on the observation deck. "Captain, these aliens believe humanity is extinct. The Great Collapse they mentioned must be the Centauri War we were fighting." Miller nodded grimly. "Earth might be gone, but humanity survives here on this ship. They have no idea what they've found, sir. They think they've discovered an artifact, Reed. But what they've really found is the most advanced warship humanity ever built, with a full complement of Special Forces troops." Reed smiled slowly, "And they're helping us power it up." "Exactly. Be friendly, be cooperative for now. Let them think we're just grateful survivors. Meanwhile, learn everything you can about this Galactic Council." As alien engineers swarmed over the ship, none noticed that the Indomitable's AI was quietly downloading the entire Galactic Information Network, analyzing defensive capabilities, and planning the most efficient routes to key strategic locations. They had mistaken a dormant predator for an archaeological curiosity. By the time they realized their error, the human battlecruiser would be fully operational again. And Captain James Miller had every intention of finding out what had happened to Earth and making someone pay if the worst had occurred. What the Galactic Council had awakened wasn't merely an artifact. It was humanity's reckoning.